This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news tonight, the Grand Bahama Power Company is reporting that it is close to full restoration of electricity on Grand Bahama. Officials say at this point they have less than 100 consumers still without power, and in most cases these are isolated cases in the residential communities and in the business sector. Officials say work crews will continue to troubleshoot throughout the night, and they hope to achieve full restoration by tomorrow. The power supply was shut down throughout the island on Sunday night after, out of concern, strong winds associated with Hurricane Irma could cause damage to power company's equipment. Now, if your area is energized and you are without electricity, you may be experiencing an isolated outage, and you should contact the power company at 352-8411 or 300-4826. Meanwhile, the island of Bimini slowly returning to a state of normalcy after a tornado ripped through the island this past Sunday. Administrator Kate Williamson says that the island is filled with resilient people and gives this update on the way forward.
Presently, we are in the rebuilding process. We have persons on the street getting the debris and large items up, and also we are operating data list at the office, whereby we are asking persons to come in and state their various needs so that we can accommodate them in a systematic way. All right, so we are presently doing that.
She says at this point, power has been restored to about 90% of homes and businesses. She is optimistic that students can return to school as of Monday.
Of course, you know that our primary school, they lose some shingles there. Everything else is intact, and the Defense Force assisted us greatly yesterday in preparing the grounds. So if all goes well, we look for Monday. I'm thinking Monday because the high school really didn't have any major damages like that. So the teachers got together with some students, and we are trying to work our efforts together to make sure the ground is ready for Monday.
Well, assistance also coming in for tornado victims on Grand Bahama. On Sunday past, multiple tornadoes ripped through communities on this island, leaving a trail of destruction. Imperial Park is one of the areas affected. Residents there have received some help, and that's thanks to a number of local organizations. Megan Shepard has the story.
Some residents of Grand Bahama thanking God for sparing their lives as a tornado ripped through the island and directly into their homes. One of those residents is Peter Roberts. A number of agencies came together recently to assist Roberts and many others that were affected by tornadoes.
I had a hold on my wife and my stepson. I had a hold them because I thought it was going to suck them out. And then I don't know, it is an experience. If it happened to y'all would know, because then an experience I never thought I would have gone through with how it hit the house and suck up everything like that, So I just thank God we're alive, because things like this could be rebuilt.
BTC led the way after receiving calls from residents in the Imperial Park community. Vice President of the Northern Bahamas, Ferguson says that it was a joint effort by several agencies.
We reached out to local vendors. We want to say very big thank you to Keith Roll at Stop and Shop. We want to say thank you to All Build and Brian, because what they did was they provided us with some supplies. We reached out to the Red Cross, our Grand Bahama, to continue with the hurricane relief initiative that we had, and we wanted to see what difference and impact that we could make. And obviously sitting here, you know that there's still a need for some lumber, some supplies. There's still a need for garbage and trash collection. So hopefully with the assistance of local government, with the assistance of the MPs for the area, and I want to say thank you as well to Mr. Pintard and Mr. Iram Lewis in these areas for giving us the consent and allowing us and teaming us up with their team members that are on the ground.
Mackey says they did their best to touch as many families as possible.
We have packed bags for at least 50 families today. So as far as our supplies can extend, we're going to make sure that we provide that support. We've also brought our local technicians, because we know usually when we have tragedy, there's or some devastation, we have homes that need some quick fixes in terms of their services, etc. So we have a technical team that's here.
Corporate Grand Bahama and residents across the island are encouraged to continue to make donations to those in need.
We still have the bins at the BTC locations. If you want to drop off your non-perishable items, you want to drop off clothing, etc., those bins are still there. And we also want to encourage you to text 5115 so that we could continue to make monetary contributions. But it was a simple effort, and this is just the start of many starts and a step in the right direction for us.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Meanwhile, the Evangeline Jervis Community Service and Distribution Center in Freeport remains a distribution hub for residents in need. Following the passing of Hurricane Irma, the center is prepared to help others. Kimberly Mullins explains.
The Freeport Seventh-day Adventist Evangeline Jervis Community Service and Distribution Center remains a pillar in the community for those who are less fortunate or who have fallen on hard times. New pastor and president of the Northern Bahamas Seventh-day Adventist Conference, Eric Danny Clarke, says it is important for the church to move beyond its four walls and is glad that the Freeport SDA Church is able to do that through this center, which offers essential services to residents within the community. He says they are a part of a bigger worldwide organization, ADRA, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, which is similar to the Red Cross or Salvation Army.
If somebody is hurting, the church must feel that. We must be sensitized to what is happening, and we must be aware of what is happening. We must, as it were, be first responders for whatever the community, the society is going through. We have the expertise, we have the personnel, we have the training, and we make ourselves available to make a difference wherever we can. So even as we speak, we've got a team going into the Turks and Caicos Islands. We've got persons moving into the Caribbean, Bermuda, and other places that have been totally devastated. And we're so happy that as a church we can reach out in this fashion.
Deloris Lockhart, manager of the Evangeline Jervis Community Service and Distribution Center, says that their role is to assist residents physically and spiritually.
We offer them groceries, clothing, household items, and we also counsel them. We have so many people that still living in abandoned homes from last hurricane, not even the recent one. And they're constantly looking for places to stay. They're looking for bed items to sleep in abandoned cars. And a lot of times what hurts me a lot too is that they come here, they're looking for assistance. I'm giving them grocery packages and they're telling me, I don't have anywhere to cook it because we're living in apartments, have no water, no light.
Director of the center, Alicia Jervis-Garland, says that the Freeport SDA Church is happy to meet the needs of the community time and time again, especially in the wake of devastation.
The last hurricane, we had items brought in from ADRA, and we have items that were given out, tarp, food items, clothing, blankets, building materials, all of that is sent here. But right now, we have people coming in looking for any kind of support that they can get. They can get the dry grocery items, like we say. They can come in and they can get food. We have the uniforms that are here. I know Vanessa Clarke, Divine Lady, she had a program that brought a lot of books into the center where people can come in and get their books.
Kimberly Mullins, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the country has lost a warrior in the fight for the development of culture. Ken Motorboat Ferguson, veteran public officer and avid junkanoo, passed away in the Rand Memorial Hospital last evening after a battle with cancer. Tonight, those who know him best say Ken Motorboat Ferguson was a man with a big heart. Family and friends pouring in at the home of junkanoo legend Ken Motorboat Ferguson. His name has become a household one on Grand Bahama and throughout the junkanoo circles. His son, Jaylon Ferguson, says his father was indeed a giant of a man in many ways, a great husband, a father to many, and his own personal hero.
My father was honestly and truly my one and only true friend. I can say that much about him. He's a good man. For whatever he done for his children, whatever he did for his children, he tried his endeavor best and make sure it was done. And to what I see, he never failed me, not once. But he wasn't only a father to me and to the rest of his children, he's a father to other children, like outside friends who he would consider his child in the Junkanoo community. And a lot of us could attest to that.
But his younger brother, Bishop Reno Smith, says while many associate motorboat with Junkanoo, they may find it quite interesting that his first love was sports.
Ken started one of the first softball teams and league in Nassau for young people. And he taught all of us the sport of softball and baseball. And after doing that for about 10-15 years, he started Junkanoo. And Junkanoo was his life's passion.
His brother says Motorboat formed the Classic Dancers group over 40 years ago when he moved from Nassau to Grand Bahama. He was honored several times for his influence in and commitment to Junkanoo. First, by former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingraham. Then in 2008, he was inducted in the National Junkanoo Legend Circle by the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Desmond Bannister. And then again, recently, by former Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Daniel Johnson.
He used to make me question if he loved it more than me, but I mean, I understand where he's coming from, because like I said, he did it for culture. He never did it for the competition. He did it for culture. He did it so that he could mold characters and young men in principle. And he did it to help young men get off the street.
Ferguson spent well over 40 years as a civil servant in the road traffic department here in Freeport. He was also recently ordained as a minister in the church and got married just a little over a year ago. According to his family, Motorboat was diagnosed with prostate cancer, but it wasn't until this Monday when his health deteriorated significantly.
His son and his wife took him to the hospital on Monday, and I joined them later on that morning, and to see how quickly he deteriorated. He was taken to the hospital because of a stroke on Monday, and then he had a second stroke Tuesday night, which was the death stroke. After the second one, he was not cognizant, you know. He will be sorely missed by his loved ones, his wife who was there by his side, his children who were there by his side when he died.
Everyone knew of his love for the classic dancers, and many recall when the results came in and he wasn't pleased, he was never afraid to voice his opinion openly. And what's interesting to note is up to his death, he was already preparing for the 2018 New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade.
I am sorry that he wouldn't be here, but he's in a bigger parade now, you know. And he has retired the Junkanoo costumes for a beautiful robe, not made with the flesh or hands of men. And so, may his soul rest in peace.
Ken Motorboat Ferguson, a Junkanoo legend, died on September 14th at the age of 62.